live, you guys. Hi, everybody. My name is Ari Krzyzek. I am the CEO and head of strategy at Secalofia. We are a creative and web agency, primarily helping women-led brands with a lot of their vision and generating new ideas, helping them go to market, having clear brand that truly target the right target audience they want to get connected with, and really just like helping them with their digital channels like the website and leveraging it as platform for growth. Today we are having yet another panel on Founder Vision 2025, all about growth strategies and industry insights. We have two amazing speakers joining us today, Nichole, Healy, and also Katya Sverdlov. Did I say that correctly? Okay. I know. I feel like European last name is really hard to like pronounce sometimes. I have my own as well that it took me 5 years to pronounce correctly. So thank you, Katya, for giving me some grace there. I'm going to introduce Nichole first. So Nichole, I have your information right in front of me. Let me read that for everyone who's listening in for today. Nichole Healy, founder, Memory My Way. With 20 years of business and accounting expertise, Nichole is revolutionizing the digital legacy space. As a certified professional photo organizer, she is creating innovative solutions for preserving family memories in the digital age. Welcome, Nichole. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And then next up, I have Katya. Katya, you are a founder of Law A. Is that no? Hang on.
Sverdlov law.
Mistake here. Yes, you are the founder of Sverdlov Law, right? Okay, so that is your business, a forward-thinking legal entrepreneur. Katya specializes in estate planning and business succession, bringing innovative approaches to traditional legal services. Her practice focuses on creating comprehensive solutions for families and businesses planning for the future. Welcome, Katya.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go dive into the questions straight away because I cannot wait to ask a lot of these, really interesting questions. And I'm gonna start with you first, Katya, if you don't mind. So for Katya, how are you leveraging digital transformation to modernize your traditional services? Tell us more about that.
Oh, how are we not leveraging at this point? First of all, of course, most of the meetings went online, which has been extremely helpful for the entire for all the clients because now they can meet in the evening. Now husbands and wives can meet together as opposed to taking time off work. And people who had it very hard to transport themselves to all offices now have access to it. It's also, of course, giving people access to information as well, right? We are utilizing videos, we are utilizing information in terms of to explain instead of me repeating every time for all the same questions. Now, in addition to the documents that we send out, we send explanatory videos for every single thing that people are asking, which clients have found to be incredibly helpful. And we're using technology to collect information as well, because people forget. But if we send it out ahead of time and we give very comprehensive ideas of the types of information that I need to gather, it becomes much more comprehensive. So that's just some of it. But of course, there's more in terms of updating the documents and the type of info, creating a comprehensive plan on what if different scenarios, etc.
Has that really changed your business? Leveraging all of these like new digital transformation, what has been the impact, I guess, for that before we pass it to Nichole, Katya?
Definitely more accessibility. Definitely also wider set of clients. Again, I'm only licensed in New York, but I now network with people across the country. And I give a lot of referrals to people across the country for different things, but people are also sending me clients. So it's grown. Oh, and of course, I do have remote staff as well. So dramatically changed my business in terms of both customer service, in terms of 24-hour availability, and in terms of the type of clientele that we're serving.
I love that. Nichole, how about you? How are you leveraging digital transformation essentially for your own business?
Yeah, well, so May, which is our first product at Memory My Way, is our memory assistant experience AI, basically. And what she does is she transforms a family's digital footprint into a meaningful digital legacy. And so, right there, I mean, we're using tech every single day. I actually started out as a certified professional photo organizer, which you mentioned earlier. And I was actually working with families one on one, and I would organize their photos and then specifically curate them into high-end photo books. And excuse me, I am sick. I have a cold, so my voice is a little shaky. So forgive me, but I'll try my best. And I eventually started thinking, okay, there has to be a better way. I mean, we as families are now producing, tens of thousands of, digital assets in the form of our photos and videos per year. And, these aren't just digital files. They are our most meaningful assets. They are our memories. They are intended to, live a life beyond our life. And they contain stories and narratives that that future generations are will really want to understand where they come from, and how those stories shape their own lives, right? And so we use technology on the daily to find our best photos, and so that we can build that digital legacy long term.
I like that you mentioned AI, Nichole. So I'm really curious, how has that been for you? Like really leveraging AI, right?
Yeah.
For photo curation, essentially. Like, has that been challenging to build and implement? How has that been for you and your business?
Yeah, well, I'm a non-technical founder, meaning I'm not the one behind the scenes doing all the coding. We have a lead engineer who is awesome at what he does, and is very talented, and basically takes my ideas and, puts them into the product, and, my expertise and years, working as a photo organizer. But, you know, the landscape is changing daily. When we first started out, there weren't even APIs for image recognition yet, via OpenAI and some other models. So it was real. It was literally, one day it didn't exist, and the next day it did, and we were just waiting for it. And then beyond that, every single day the models change, they become better, they become they just have more abilities, right? And so, it's a challenge just navigating those changes on the daily, because you make plans, and then the next day those plans might have to change a little bit. So so that's the challenge, but it's also really exciting being on the cutting edge of all of that. It feels very you know uh, new and challenging.
Constantly pivoting, right?
Yes, constantly.
That's the life of entrepreneur. Okay, next question that I have here. It's going to touch a little bit on what you already mentioned earlier, Katya, around accessibility, but thinking about how do you approach pricing and accessibility, right? These two things while maintaining your own product or your own service quality. What does that typically look like? I'll start with you, Katya.
I mean, pricing is an interesting thing because there are so many online programs right now for what we're doing. People are always wondering, why should we pay an attorney when we can do this all online? And my answer is, if you're looking for a set of documents, absolutely, you should go online. If you're looking for a comprehensive plan and you want to understand what type of documents you need to do and how they're going to function going forward, and you actually want them proper for your particular family, then you work with an attorney. And I've been doing this for a while now, and my time is worth money. My time is worth money. My knowledge is worth money, and it can be hourly, but it's even more than hourly at this point, right? Because I can spot issues. 99% of the people, literally 99% of the people, come in and they say, "I want a simple will." And I say, "Great, of course." And if they don't go to an attorney, then they just go online and do themselves a simple will. But if they come to talk to me, then I start asking them questions. Absolutely. Tell me, is this your first marriage? Oh, it's your second marriage. And do you have children from the previous relation? Oh, you have a special needs child from a previous relationship. Oh, and one of the other children is still minor. Oh, and you and your sibling are not talking. Oh, and you have a property in another state owned together with somebody else. Yeah, none of it is simple. All of it requires different, right? And I haven't even started talking about the money or the taxes at this point. So I keep waiting to be outsourced to AI, but you have to know which questions you're asking in each particular field. And if you're not asking the right questions, you're not going to get the right answer. And you can get a simple will done, but you don't know what to do with it and what a mess it's going to be at the end of it. And then the will covers just about 1/5 of what you actually need to do. So in terms of pricing, so far, it has not affected much at all, to be honest, because people, and then of course there are all these other issues that come up, right? Like elder law. Elder law, people do understand that it's so complicated and there's so many answers online that it's pretty much impossible to figure out on your own unless you're talking to a specialized attorney. Special needs planning, I mean, it's like the whole system is designed to prevent anybody from getting services. It's like that convoluted and complicated. International estate planning for people who are coming here from other countries, but may not necessarily want to have US residency. Very different type of planning. All these things are not simple, require still one-on-one interactions, all of which requires payment.
I love that you mentioned that. Most people would come and asking for something simple, but after talking to them, it really is not simple. There's always something underneath that, right? There's always something more that I think as consumer, oftentimes we're just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be quick. I can just like talk to somebody and it's like, I want something that is very straightforward. But that is in your mind. But when you do talk with the right people, right, expert like yourself, Katya, you'll discover something more that you should not be overlooking, right? In fact, they're going to be there. They're going to be the one helping and guiding you, figuring out what's going to be the best solution for you. And that's what you pay for, right? And the accessibility of your knowledge of these, over 20 years. Is that what you said, Katya, in this business?
Not for a while.
Okay. Yes. I mean, like, this
Over,
is like,
over 10. This is my second, actually, law is my second profession. I worked on Wall Street for 12 years doing mortgage-backed securities and CDOs. And then in my 30s, I went to law school. So I've been doing estate planning now for over 10 years.
see, that is just like accumulating so much knowledge. Much easier to have somebody else who have done this before and seen multiple cases and recommending the right solution for you rather than you yourself doing it for you, right? I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it. How about you, Nichole? Like, what does this typically look like for you?
I have to unmute there. Well, for me, coming from, a one-on-one type of situation into a more tech-enabled situation, actually pricing becomes more accessible because we're leveraging the technology to get the job done instead of leveraging just our human knowledge and human eye. There are challenges with that, though. The onus then becomes on the user a little bit because curation is very subjective. While we can give a bunch of direction to our AI and to our models about what is actually looking for, if we say we don't want any blurry photos, but a blurry photo might mean something to someone else, right? That the machine wouldn't pick up the context of that. They then, it takes a little bit of a collaboration to say, no, actually, I do want that photo in this curation, and there's actually meaning behind it. So, yeah, I hope that answers that particular pricing question.
It does. So for both of you, as we, stay within this pricing question in particular, like what have you find the most successful approach when you price your service or your product offering? What do they typically look like? Is there like particular strategies that you leverage? What are some of the things that really help you get to where you are today with pricing?
So for us, we do a lot of surveys of our user base and our customers. And, because as a consumer product, it's a lot of, perceived value. And, it's also a digital product. So there is this idea that, that it should actually cost a whole lot less than it actually maybe to run the models and the APIs in the background. So you also have to you run this fine line of perceived value, and then your costs, your tech costs on the back end, and then you kind of go through that process and then just ask the question. I ask in surveys and I ask in my customer discovery calls, what would you pay for May as a subscriber, and then tell me why you would pay that. And it's always very interesting. You get a wide variety of answers, but it's actually quite valuable to make sure that you're on the right track.
Yeah, there's definitely like a specific strategies for what you're doing with, a tech product like May. But for Katya, your strategies around this could look completely different. What does that typically look like?
I mean, I don't want to be the cheapest provider out there. So if I don't have any price resistance, I start getting worried that I'm clearly becoming one. But I'm not worried at this point, because people sometimes don't say, but I can get this down the road twice as cheap. Like, great. Do you want to do this cheap, or do you want to do this right? And if the answer is cheap, you should go and do that. If you want to do things right, then we're going to work together. And that, again, doesn't work 100%, and that's perfectly fine. But I do value my time and my expertise, and my firm's expertise. So again, and I have a rough idea about what other attorneys are charging, what other specialized attorneys are charging, right? Because you can have somebody down the street who does a little bit of immigration and a little bit of estate planning and a little bit of divorce and a little bit of business law, and that is scary, because that means they don't know anything at all, seriously. So they can be undercharging. And again, then the question is, do you want things cheap, or do you want things right?
And that's two great indicators to really just like making sure which bucket of pricing do you really want to leverage for your own business, right? Is it more towards like a generalist, or are you more of a specialist that is very particular in your approach and your knowledge and the type of cases that you're taking? So very different type of way and strategies, but it really comes down to like whatever works for your business, that's what you will leverage to make sure that you have the highest retention and also like have the right price market value for your customers. Now, touching on your audience as well as like retention a little bit here, I'm really curious how do you leverage technology, or does it even something that you use for your business in terms of like your user retention or your customer retention, as well as like customer acquisition? Or what are some of these things typically look like for you, whether you use technology or not? Tell us, how do you typically tackle this part?
Well, it's interesting that you're asking that question. We haven't, taken the dive yet, but For customer acquisition strategies, we've been talking about, some affiliate programs and, tracking, um, user acquisition, and then doing some sort of rev share type of situation. But Partner Stack, I don't know if you've heard of Partner Stack, is something that we're looking into right now. I can't really speak beyond that yet because, like I said, we're just in the process of it and doing some research and trying to figure that out. But it seems to be, genuine referrals, people that really love your product and can see how it could be helpful for others, I think is the best kind of customer acquisition, and everybody wins because we're gaining a new customer. Your affiliate, your partner affiliate is happy because they get a cut of that, and so that is basically passive income for them over a certain period of time. And then everybody is also happy because they're getting a service that they were actually looking for and they needed. So that's one thing that we're starting to work through.
Okay. I love that. I've heard of Partner Stack before, Nichole. How about you, Katya?
Referrals from past clients, referrals from other attorneys and from other professionals, definitely. Do write blogs, and so people forward that to other people as they find relevant. So that's definitely helpful. Also, I mean, obviously CRMs, in terms of as soon as somebody reaches out, they go into the system, and depending on which interest it was that they were reaching, was it estate planning, was it elder law, was it a guardianship, was it probate, they get a series of 7 to 10 emails specifically targeting this particular field. And again, people then reach out saying, oh, this was actually very helpful. I didn't know. And so like after the 5th email, people reach out and say, yes, thank you so much. Now we would like to move forward. So, yeah.
So how long have you been implementing that, Katya? I'm just curious. Like, is that something that you always thought you would need to implement immediately, or is it something that you stumble upon, like,
Last 5 years.
Okay, the last 5 years.
CRM last 5 years. And that definitely has increased conversions by, like twice.
That's amazing. I love that. Okay.
It just takes, like one time to write it out. And, of course, we tweak it out, and like I write new ones as well in different subsections. Again, people reach out: estate planning, elder law, adult guardianships, probate, special needs planning. There's a couple of subsections, and then the question is, what are they reaching out for?
So let me ask you a relevant question for that, because for those of our audience who are listening right now and really want to implement something similar to what you have, where do you start?
You figure out what people are reaching out for, right? And you prioritize.
Okay.
Then you think about it and figure out what are the questions. Like, again, if I was trying to learn about this, what questions do I have? What should I know? But what do I also, which questions do I keep getting and getting and getting about this? And then you write 7 articles about it. It doesn't have to be long, but like it does have to be useful, that we can refer to again. And I say write, but I have both written blogs as well as YouTube videos that I say. And YouTube now is so easy, right? I used to record myself. Oh yes, I completely forgot about it. That's been so useful. So I used to record myself, and I can speak, and but if it's a 3-4 minute video, you stumble, you forget. Whereas now you can upload the whole script that you wrote, and the video gets done for you, and you can do yourself as a video. But I also have an elderly British gentleman who is speaking with gravitas, and he's part of my law practice, and he is explaining to people about guardianships, and people are like, where did you get such a beautiful actor? And I'm like, and he is an AI. And he is an AI who is, but again, he is speaking, giving information. And I get, now that I told you, you will know that it's an AI. Had I not told you, it's actually really, really good. And so, yeah, we send that to people, both written and videos, and people find it very helpful.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to send me that information later because I definitely want to check it out.
Mhm.
Now, I love that we touch on a little bit technology, but at the end of the day, we are leveraging these AI functionalities and features almost on every single thing that we do for the business, right? Okay, on to the last question. Looking towards 2025, right? What industry trends are you preparing for? And how are you positioning your business to adapt?
So, one industry trend for me is personalization. This move towards personalization and really wanting an easy, low lift way to personalize your digital legacy and your personal narratives, right? And I really think with the availability of this enabling technology in the form of AI and large language models, it makes a lot of sense. Like people want to see themselves reflected in their own digital assets, and then also they want their AI to help them create these things for them. So that's really something that we're really leaning into, is this personalization. And then even beyond that, that also goes along with this personalization is finding meaning. I think people are really wanting to cut through the clutter. Like I had mentioned earlier, we produce thousands and thousands and thousands of files, and we really want to get down to the heart of it, and find the meaning in all of it, and find the story and the very like heart of it. And so that's another thing that we're really leaning into as well.
Katya.
I think personalization, I would agree, of course, but every estate plan has been personalized, better be personalized, based on people are stressed right now, like really, really stressed. So, and they want to avoid chaos, they want to avoid stress for their kids, they want to help parents. And really, like, honestly, at this point, I'm focusing on this year. How do I make this whole process as easy for people as possible, but not easy, not less than necessary, right? Like there are certain things, I'm sorry, yes, your life is complicated. And yes, it has to be thought through and dealt with. And here's how we're going to do it in a proper, methodical, straightforward way. So that's, it's, I don't want to say it's technology trends. It's just that I'm trying to make things in my small little world and in my small little profession easier for people to live.
I feel you, and I echo that. I hear a lot of other business owners that I talk to is just super overwhelmed. Something in 2025 just happened, and everybody just feel like, oh my God, like so hard to catch up on things. I feel it too. So, Katya, I'm glad that you highlight that a little bit. But now that we are coming to the end, how can people find you guys? So, Nichole, how can people find you? And then we'll pass it to Katya.
Yeah, sure. So we're on Instagram at May Memory Manager. We're also on LinkedIn and Facebook. And also our website is meet-may, that's MAE.com.
Katya?
I have a website and I'm on LinkedIn, sverdlovlaw.com.
Wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing your insights on this. I love all the conversation that happened today, and I'm pretty sure it's going to help others as well as they start, thinking through about their strategies, including the planning for figuring out their pricing and figuring out some of the other pieces that Katya mentioned on growing your newsletter, right? Really leveraging that to get more conversion. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.